Okay, so here we go. So hi everybody. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Helena Lavery. I am a yoga teacher and also I'm a, a Paqo, which is an energy healer. And recently, I'm becoming um, CI practitioner, compassionate inquiry with Gabor Mate. So that's kind of all in the works. And there's many other little bits and pieces along with that. Um, so this presentation I've kind of put about, uh, which really primarily focuses in on Gaza, but I'm using all the information that I've kind of collected over the years to talk about a specific ley line that goes all the way to the Holy Lands from Ireland, where I live. Um, and I just want to talk a little bit about Gaza first and how I came to meeting the family that I'm looking after and how this healing group has come about that are helping me with this. This presentation that I'm about to give isn't just me, it's an accumulation of information from friends, from people I've met along the journey, other Pacos, Reiki healers, uh, everybody that can meditate or anything else that can give me information on this as sort of come forth. So and there's people all around the world, um, from not only Ireland here but into Wales, England, Scotland, um, all the way over to Italy, Greece, America, Australia, even Costa Rica, So anyway, lots of people have given me things, information on this, and so this isn't just about me here. This is I'm sharing this information. So to talk about the family I'm looking after in Gaza, I'm not going to put pictures up about of them, but you can see on my social media how I've been supporting them and how I've been following them. My journey with them started a year and a half ago. Um, this 16-year-old boy reached out to me on Instagram and we struck up a conversation, and I just could see my nephew in him, and I thought um, I need to help him. So cut a long story short, I started fundraising for him and did some yoga classes, and we raised money, and we could see directly that money going to him. He then the next day went to the market and had this beautiful feast, and I was able to share that with everybody that had been at the yoga class. And also after the yoga class, they got to talk to him, so everybody knows, they could see that they are for real, the people that I'm looking after, and they've become like a second family to me. um, and then about 6 months ago, they were displaced for the 20th time. The first time they got displaced was actually on the 7th of October, 2023. I know people think that stuff happened the next day, but this actually happened. They told me it happened on the 7th of October. Their house was destroyed. And from then, they've been on the street. They've moved from one place to another. We got a tent for them. And then the last time they were displaced, they had to leave the tent behind. So they're in really makeshift uh, quarters now that is in Al-Mawasi. So my priority has been them and looking after them throughout this whole thing, and it just all got a bit much for me, so I started like texting some friends and asking them to help me with the healings that I was sending to the family. And so a group of healers, Pacos, Reiki healers, people that meditate, people that just are humanitarians that wanted to know more, all started joining this group, and then we started seeing things like one of the family members, Mohammed, is disabled, and one of the days he fainted. He was so ill, and I got everybody to work on him. The next day, he was sitting upright and wanting to to get more food, and yeah, so we can see kind of direct effects, not only from being able to support them financially to help them get food, but also the support like energetically with these energy healings that we're doing. Um, and it feels good to make a difference, because I think a lot of people that have been involved with all that's going on in Gaza and the West Bank just feel helpless and feel like they can't do anything. And this has given us something to do, and we can see results from that. And then about maybe 3 weeks ago, about half the people in our healing group came online with me, and we did a Zoom call with the family. So they got to meet each other, and it was lovely. So it's like it's the healing group and the family have merged now, and we're one big family. So really, really lovely to be able to do that. So, and then more while we've been kind of on this journey, this Leyline has come up, and we have uh, done some practices on it, and it's become more kind of intense in the past week or so, and lots of information coming back from various people in the group that has kind of helped me to formulate this kind of slideshow sort of thing that I'll put presentation I'll put together. So I'm just going to bring it up on the screen here. Hold on one second. Okay, and okay, one second. Technical. Where am I got? 1 second. There you go. I am not great at technology. Here we go. I think you can see it. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Thanks for the thumbs up there. Okay. So I first came across this St. Michael Apollo line about 13 years ago when I was in Peru. And a lovely Italian man whose name I can't remember told me about the line. He said, "Oh, you're from Ireland. Have you been to Skellig Michael? It is on the this ley line that goes all the way through to the Holy Lands." And I was like, no, very intrigued by it. And so as soon as I got home, I started researching it. And this was one of the maps that came up at the time. And I was just like, what the heck is this? And just, it really resonated with me, you know? So I was just like, okay, I need to know more. Um, so as it turns out, there are 7 points on this line um, that are related to the Archangel Michael. Um, and so there, you know, I haven't got all the names of all the people that have been involved with this that I've researched online, but it's well documented that there are these 7 particular uh, power places or sacred sites along this line. It starts off in Ireland, goes through the tip of Cornwall in England, into Normandy in France. Then there's 2 points in Italy, and then it goes down to Greece, and then into Mount Carmel in um, Israel, which was formerly Palestine. So we're focusing in on this ley line, but there are many ley lines around the world. And in fact, I've been inspired. One of my friends who's online here at the minute to look up different ley lines around the world. And I'm sure that there's probably more ley lines that are converging in particularly the Holy Lands and uh, in the area where there's a lot of conflict at the minute. So conflict is in the lightest sense of the word, but there's a geomagnetic pull that's like working underneath the surface of the earth, and that magnetism, uh, first of all, draws people to these places. Plus, also, when you go to like somewhere that has this magnetic kind of pull, you can sometimes like feel a difference in your energy. Sometimes you'll feel a little dizzy, you'll feel there's something different here. I feel really out of sorts, and that can be the magnetic pull of the place. And from that, then people have made pilgrimages to these sacred sites for eons. So if we're thinking about uh, Archangel Michael, one of the people in our group the other night said you have to be careful when you're talking about Archangel Michael because he's actually it's the universal Archangel Michael preceding all religions. Although he is talked about in the three uh, main kind of religion from the Holy Lands. So you've got Christianity is in the Bible, then Islam is in the Quran, and also in the Book of David by in the Judaic faith. So there is a lot of mentions, about Archangel Michael. And this sword has been a lot of these points along the line. People have had apparitions and seen Archangel Michael at these particular places. And so I was kind of like looking up what does his sword mean, and it's a symbol for spirituality and justice. I mean, you could read this off the screen yourself. A protector against evil, and he's often seen as like holding the light for humanity. He guides people to their purpose. Um, and then the actual now there's this one of the websites that I read. The sword of Saint Michael was kept at the Carmelite monastery in Stella Maris in Haifa, Israel. There is also other swords in the stone. So there's like lots of stuff about the Knights Templar and this like the sword in the stone. So there is like lots of myths and legends about uh, Archangel Michael and these particular sites as well. So there's a lot to kind of work on, but I see the sword. I one of the things I heard was it was about truth and light, and it cuts through the lies, and it shows you brings the light in when there's all the lies and the craziness going on. So it's maybe kind of what's needed at this moment. So, yeah, as you can see along this line, you can see all the different places. And I was also kind of curious that there was other places on this, more than just the 7 sites. And in fact, I found this map where there is lots and lots of different sacred sites. And then I was also curious in this slide, the way they talk about the Apollo St. Michael axis. And then my Greek friends were telling me that Apollo is the god of the sun in Greece. And so that was fascinating. So I went down another rabbit hole with that. So then now I haven't gone to all of these places along this line yet, but you can see that the trajectory of it. You can also see that there's a lot of sacred sites along it, and it's pointing in a specific direction. So then I came across this that there's more than there's all these different sun gods that are related to the line. So if we go to Lu was the god in Celtic mythology, and he's a member of the Tuatha De Danann. He's portrayed as a warrior, king, and a savior, and again, a lot about truth and therefore rightful kingship. Mithras, now Lu was also worshipped in the place in England, so it wasn't just in at Skellig Michael, but also in England. And some of these kind of there's like little crossovers with the different gods. Mithras, the god of light and truth and honor, um, was a Roman mystical god, and so he was let me see again and a lot of them have a lot of the same threads going through them where they're warriors or kings, and they also protect other warriors and kings, um, and then of course Apollo. Also there's a lot of stuff, another thread that goes through about poetry and music and healing from these gods. So it's just a lot of truth, light, and again, of course, with the sun, there's it's about the um, light coming through. And you'll find as I go through these different places, a lot of them are built on high up places, and the direction that they're pointing in is to kind of southeast and I can't remember the exact trajectory, but they're all pointed towards the setting sun on the summer solstice in the northern hemisphere. So it was just like, wow, okay, great. And I found out about that. So we'll go to the first one, and I've said this before, but I am a wee bit biased about the one in Ireland, because I've been there, and so I had. It feels like took me like 9 years before I actually landed on the actual island, and it's just off the coast of Kerry, and there's a mountain range that actually goes from here. And it's called the McGillicuddy Reeks. The highest peak of that is Abu Karen. Well, I call it him Abu, um, which is the sacred name in the Andean tradition. Um, Karen Hill is the highest mountain there. And then that mountain range over 300 million years ago connected all the way through to Skellig Michael. But Skellig Michael is now an island off the coast, and he's 7 miles off the coast of Kerry. It's become more famous in recent years because of the what do you call the Star Wars movies, and Luke Skywalker was there with his lightsaber, a sword made of light. And so all these wee things are kind of like linking up. This is the top, an aerial view of the where the monks had their quarters there. These are called beehive huts. You can actually go in them and meditate in them, and really amazing experience. This was like a garden where they grew their vegetables. They also brought rabbits to the island. This was inhabited by the monks between the 6th and 8th century, and built. They are thought to have built all these steps and all the structures that are on the island. Um, and this is a view of Little Skellig. It is a little island just off between there and the mainland. You can see a wee bit of the mainland in the distance there. Little Skellig there's nothing on it other than birds and it's quite a bird sanctuary. There's been, lots of uh, anyway, we're on this like flight path for these birds from all around the world to go there. This is the Wailing Woman rock, and I've looked this up, and I'm pretty sure she is facing in the direction of our ley line all the way down to the Holy Lands. So her face here and her body, and this is like meant to be her hair flowing back in the wind. And it makes me think of the women in Palestine that are the mothers that are going through all of the stuff that they are at the moment. So um, it's like a even more of a connection there. These are the steps leading up to the beehive huts, and this is the beehive huts, a little close up of them. So that's Skellig Michael. Again, Christian monks went there, but possibly it could have been from the. I'm not sure if these huts were maybe even built even previous to that. So from Skellig Michael, we're going to go down to the coast of England there, and the place is Mount St. Michael in Cornwall, or St. Michael's Mount in Cornwall. And this is it. And it's a bit more like a castle. Now, when I looked this up, there is, as I said earlier, the sun god Lu was worshipped here. But again, and I think this is a castle, but also I think there was a Christian church there as well. I've just somebody contacted me just before this and said that she lives near there, so I'm going to get even more information of her. So, as I say, this is going to grow as we go on here. I've got another view of uh, of Mount St. Michael off the tip of Cornwall. So from there, we go down to Normandy in France. And this next one is called Mont Saint Michel. Oops, sugar, sorry. Let me go back a second. Lost my navigator. Yeah. So, yeah, another beautiful sacred place. One that I've seen quite a few pictures on social media, and another one that I'd really love to visit. And again, so then the sun god here changes to Mithras, which is uh the Roman pre-Christian sun god, I would say. And this island can only be accessible when the tide is out, from what I believe. And again, you can see how high up it is, and also that these church spires, have this upward point, so that the energy is always flowing upwards. Excuse me. So from there in Normandy, we're going to go all the way down to the north of Italy. And right, the point here is called La Sacra di San Michele in Piedmont, Italy. Now, my friend Jan Michele would probably correct me on my pronunciation of this. And I only recently found out from him that he has been going to this place and making offerings for at least 20 years. So, as I say, this is a work in progress, and our Italian Paqo friends have been on the ball for a lot longer than me. I mean, I've been like kind of dabbling in this for 13 years. They've been, 25, 30 years, like working on this Leyline. So they have a lot of information, and it's all starting to come through. This is another viewpoint of that same place. Really spectacular. My friend Jamie Kelly said that they would go, and somewhere around here they would be making offerings in this wee garden here. So the energy is really strong there. And again, it would have been built over a temple that was dedicated to the sun god Mithras. Mithras was originally a Persian name for this sun god. So from there we go, and that's just outside Turin. We go all the way down to this little Achilles ankle of Italy, to the Basilica Santuario di San Michele in Gargano. And again, it's built on the top of a mountain. And again, it's a church built over a sacred site that was to the sun god Mithras. So there's other kind of viewpoints of it here and here. This is a grotto that's inside it. Also to say, and I didn't mention it back when I was on the one in England there, but some of these have crossing points. Like the one in England has another Michael and Mary line that comes down across England. There's a lot of churches that are called the Michael and Mary. So there's this intersection of the divine masculine and divine feminine, at these points. Again, work in progress, and we're learning more as we go. And again, it's not just me. There's a lot of people helping me with this. So, and then we move on to Greece. And in the old map that I was looking at, there was a lot of places that were dedicated to Apollo, the sun god in Greek mythology. And now the more that I've looked at it, then I can see that there is like they're all linked with the sun. And then with Christianity coming in, they're Saint Michael or Archangel Michael has been replaced, has replaced the original what they would have seen as pagan sun gods. So here we are in Greece, and this is a place called Symi, and this one is on the coast. Again, it was built over a temple to Apollo, and inside it, it has a, a picture of Archangel Michael that my friend Kona tells me that you can feel the energy from the actual image, the icon. So whether it is Archangel Michael or whether it's a sun god, whatever, it's doesn't matter. It's all about energy and that energy flow. And I'll show you his picture a wee bit later on. So from there we go all the way down to the Stella Maris Monastery, and it's in Mount Carmel in what was formerly Palestine, but it's now Israel. This is the Gaza Strip down here, so you can see the line is quite close to the Gaza Strip, but it's like this whole area is under turmoil. So it's not just well, obviously it's heightened so much in Gaza, but they've been fighting in Lebanon, up into Syria, and all around that area. So it's just like pinpointed the energy all to there. And this is the Carmelite monastery of Stella Maris in Haifa in Israel. Again, a high up point, and it looks down over Haifa. Here's another view of it. So, and I would say that, this is like a line that we're looking at and that we have been using. But as I say, this might be there might be a culmination of ley lines like in that area. Um, and this is why people make pilgrimages to that area. But also, just if you're a Paqo, you might be interested in the this is where it says Tiberias there, that is the Sea of Galilee. And then Mount Hermon is also up in Syria. Um, this would be, so some of us in the group have been using these as the Ito Apu and the Pacarina, the nature father and nature mother, to help send energy to our family in Gaza. So, but there's also another 2 points further down in Egypt, but I'm just kind of trying to stay focused here. But yeah, you can like kind of like focus in on all these different places as you're kind of going into it. So this is I'm going to give ideas for what way we could work with the energy, and this is some of the ways because I'm a Paqo. I've been studying the Andean tradition for over 13 years now. This is the Coricancha Golden Temple in Cusco, and this is the center of that temple. Cori means gold, and Cancha means temple, and um, the Incas saw Cusco as the navel of the world, and they saw it as the center of the world. And this particular place in the center of the temple, now, when the Spanish came, they made it into a monastery. So this is very kind of Spanish looking, but this outer walls here that you can see in gold down here, and the golden lights around them, they are the original Inca walls. So it seemed to be something like this at the very center, which would have been the Costco or the navel of the center of Cusco. And once a year, there was a situa ritual that took place. And this next slide describes that a little bit better. So, the Tehuantinsuyu was four nations coming together um, in South America. You have Peru up as far as Ecuador, down into Chile, and over into Bolivia. And they all, at the time of the Incas, were made this united kind of kingdom called the Tawantinsuyu. And it's represented in the Coricancha. If you were to go there today, you would see this painting, and it's an artist's idea of the sekes, which are energetic cords or ley lines that go through the Tawantinsuyu. This would be seen as the Costco, the navel at the center. And then all these little separations of the line or dots would be the huacas or sacred sites or holy places, whatever you want to call them, around the Tawantinsuyu. So once a year, the Andean priests, the Alta Messiahs, would pull all the hucha, all the heavy energy from their communities, and they would be maybe standing on one of these huacas, and they would pull the energy they've digested in their own Costco and their own navel, and then they send it down into Pachamama. Pachamama takes care of that energy, but they were also then pushing the energy to the center here at the Coricancha. And there was more priests there that were pulling the energy in and sending it down through the Costco. So it cleared all the hucha from the whole kingdom, if you like. So I'm giving examples of ways that we could work with this energy along this ley line. So I'm just using these as examples. Another way is, and this is again another thing that I found, is people might want to work along the sword of light. So if you're not a Paqo and you're watching this video back, and you feel like you don't want to pull the hooch of the heavy energy, your job might be to send energy along this sword of light, this lightsaber, if you like. I should like maybe put a lightsaber there instead of the sword, but anyway, you get the idea. You could be sending light along the way. You might feel a resonance with one of these guys, and I know, don't look at the marks on this. I stole it off the internet, but sun god Lu, of the Celtic, Tuatha De Danann, and then you've got Mithras, the Persian Roman sun god. Then you've Apollo. I tried to get the best looking pictures of these guys. They're pretty amazing looking. And then you have this picture of Archangel Michael at, oh, I'm going to get it the name wrong. Panetides or whatever. Anyway, yes, okay, right.
Panormitis.
Panormitis. Thank you. I knew I'd get it wrong. Thank you, Kuna. Okay, so you're when something along this might resonate with you. It might be the sword, it might be pulling the hoocha along the ley line, it might be sending the energy down into Pachamama. You might make a connection with one of these sun gods or the Archangel Michael and have a conversation with him. Just see what comes up. At the minute, one of the ideas my lovely friend DL had on this was to send energy to the Global Samud Freedom Flotilla, who are actually in Tunis right now, and they're gathering strong, and there's going to be something between 50 and 90 boats, I think I heard, leaving there, heading, with all these Palestinian flags. If you have been watching any of the footage from this, it's so much love. It's so many humanitarians come together in love and in peace. So it's like they are this sword cutting through. So you might want to send energy to them. And you might also want to, those of you that are in my healing group might want to send energy also to our family in Gaza and their surrounding area. But it's really to see what sort of comes up for you. So looking back at this map, this line that goes all the way through, and I don't know why I hadn't seen it before, but only like the other week I looked at this word, Armageddon, at the bottom of it. And I was kind of like, oh my gosh, this really does feel like, we are going through Armageddon right now. There is, and when I looked it up, the place where the final battle will be fought between the forces of good and evil. Armageddon, probably a Hebrew word from the hill of Megiddo in the New Testament, place where the kings of earth under demonic leadership, does that sound like anybody that you know right now, will wage war on the forces of God at the end of history. It's not the end of history, by the way. Armageddon is mentioned in the Bible only once, and yeah, so it sounds a little bit scary, but I do believe that we are. It's awakening us to do something about this, So all is not lost. This is a lovely Italian lady, Julia, sent me this, and it is in Trieste. But the Italians, a lot of Italian cities, they have this light shining up to represent Archangel Michael, and it is for peace and for peace and humanity and love. And I thought that was just really lovely and had to include this in it. So if we go back to the Andean tradition, all of this turmoil that we're going through, there has been prophecies on this, and I spoke about this last year, I think it was, and we did like a little thing on YouTube. You can go back and find the about this. And I brought my teachers together of the Andean tradition to talk about the Pachacuti and the Tarapai Pacha. So the Pachacuti is this turnover of space and time. There's a lot of turmoil. There's a lot of unrest. There's a lot of no, it's my way or the highway. A lot of arguing and fighting. It's just chaos, and that's kind of really we are in it right now. The Tarapai Pacha is this golden age of meeting ourselves again, and and within that and throughout our lives, we the people that are I can see on this call and the people that I know have been working on ourselves spiritually, mentally, emotionally, energetically, building ourselves up. And it feels like we, you we've got this warrior spirit that we want to come forth and do something. It feels like finding our purpose. So the Tarapai Pacha is this golden age of meeting ourselves again. You're working on yourself personally, and then you go out into your community, your family, and then your community, and then it grows. So that's the Tarapai Pacha. Puchliai is a word that means sacred play. And back at the time of the Incas, when they were doing the Situa practice, there wouldn't have been as high a level of consciousness as we have now, and there wouldn't have been a lot of free will. So people were just going with what the Incas and Koyas were telling them to do, whereas we have much more free will now, much more higher level of consciousness. So sacred play comes into this when we're working with this ley line. So it's like about, it doesn't matter what way we do it, just see what comes through for you. And where your attention goes, energy flows. And trust that you're doing it right in whatever way comes through. Yeah, and the thing is, like, when I first did this practice on the ley line, we I ended up guiding the meditation, and I just felt like, I mean, although it was good at the time, whatever, I feel like that's me putting my thoughts and my interpretation of where it should go, and it kind of takes the power away from you and what way you want to meditate, to what way you want to send energy. And so lately within our group, we have been doing this as a silent energy work. Because when I'm sitting in nature, I'm quiet. I'm not shouting to the mountains. I'm not shouting to the trees and whatever. But when I sit in quiet space, then I get the information that comes through. So trust your inner knowing and trust your guides, trust everything that you have kind of learned to this date to take you to where this is going to go. And that is, I'll just close down this presentation here. So what we're going to do now is just take about half an hour to sit in silent meditation. I'm going to turn the video off. So those of you are watching this from YouTube at home, you can take as long as you want in meditation. And I would invite you to even write in the comments afterwards any information that came through for you. We're going to sit for half an hour, those that are on this call, and then I'll ask you if anything came up for you so that I can continue to gather information on this ley line. So I'll just stop recording now and thank those ones who are watching the recording for getting this far.